Your turn, Yugi boy.
What is up, guys? This is Qliphort coming at you today with a bit of a different video. We have a part 2 of DUEL Diaries. Now, this is episode 2, and as you can see, I've changed a lot. So we've got the green screen on in the background. We have just a different webcam and the different layout. This is part of my stream layout that I've made. So yeah, it's all very different, and I hope you do enjoy it. I put a fair bit of work into this, so hopefully you can enjoy it, and give me any tips or feedback that you might think, anything that you think looks good, looks bad, so on and so forth. So today the episode is with the Cyber Angel Herald. Yes, of course, one of my favorite decks that's going to be coming out very soon, and I'm just really excited for it. So this build really uses Ben 10 and the Herald of Perfection, and also Saphira as well. So I've got a replay here for you guys. I got a couple of them, and then I'll just show you the list, simply because it makes it easier. I don't want to encroach too much onto like Lithium, for example, anyone like that. And this is just basically me doing my own testing on different decks. It's not going to be testing every single archetype that comes out. It's only specifically ones for me, so I can kind of get my opinion across and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. So the first duel, we have Herald of Perfection versus BA. So starting us off, I get to go first, and basically I start off with a pretty decent hand. I'm just stopping you here. I have the Ritual Sanctuary, and with the Hymn of Light as well, it makes it so good, because you can discard to get one of your targets, and then basically at least preparation right to get back the Hymn of Light. And I just keep abusing Hymn of Light, dumping it back into the graveyard, using Hymn of Light, and also just in general, being able to plus off the single effects, which is really nice. Now, I know that I have the Scepter Sovereignty combo in my hand, but I don't go for it simply because I want to kind of keep my Ritual Sanctuary at this point. I can establish a possible bigger board, but I just want to keep it as it is now. I don't know what I'm playing against, so I basically just want to see what I get. I actually end up getting another Hymn of Light so I can protect it, and also the Sovereignty. I decided to keep the Sovereignty just because the Hymn of Light's better in Grave. So at this point I figure out, I think that I'm going to... Oh no, I don't know what I'm going against right now. And he Raigekis. I have the answer for that, that's no problem at all. That's why I love the Hymn of Light so much. And I decide, you know what, I'm going to attempt to go off now. So, Sovereignty Scepter, you Fiend Griefing, I'm like, okay, so you're playing BA, not a problem, I'll just carry on. Draw into the Dawn of the Herald, which is really nice, and then I just decide to carry on. So obviously you are going to carry on. I get the Ben 10, which is really nice. At this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the back row is. He's got 3 back row that's possibly live, so I want to, now that I do have the adequate materials for Herald of Perfection, I want to get Herald of Perfection out straight away, because I had a feeling he was waiting on me going into the rank XZ, so that he could possibly respond. If it would have been, for example, like a Solemn Strike, anything like that, not much I can do about it, but I just wanted to kind of protect myself a little bit more. So I decided to do the Dawn of the Herald now. Obviously used the Ben 10, but he responds with the Wing Blast, which is going to hit my Saphira. Not entirely sure why I decided to go Saphira, because I probably would have gone for one of the Sovereignties. But yeah, so usual shenanigans with Ben 10. I search out the Christia just because I think I might be viable at some point soon. I only play one Christia in this build, and also I decided to go for the Deltaros simply because I wanted to hit the back row as much as possible. If there were any discard traps, then I wanted to make sure that I was getting rid of them while he had nothing in the hand and nothing on the field. So he uses Foolish Burial here to send the Graph. I let the Foolish go because I want to see what he's trying to do. Arguably, you could say I could negate the Foolish Burial to stop giving him targets in the grave, but I felt quite comfortable in the spot, so I wanted to see what he was trying to do. So Ritual Sanctuary, discard the Ritual Sanctuary, pop, and this is just basically game. It's very, very simple at this point. And yeah, so that's that. Going against Kozmo in this one, and I believe I go first. And I've got a bit of an interesting hand here, simply because I did draw quite a lot of the ritual spells. I drew 3 of them. or 2 of them, sorry, and then with the pre-prep, so 3. So I was like, I'm going to go with Saphira and try and get some draws. I had the Twin Twister as well, so I was like, okay, I'll keep a Him Light just to do that. And I end up drawing into more ritual support with the pre-preparation rites and the preparation rites, the OG. So I'm like, okay, next turn I'm probably going to go off. So I let him do his thing. He's playing Kozmo, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Good Witch, I was like, why are you flipping me face down? I didn't particularly believe he was that great of a player, to be honest. But he had Solemn Notice and the Vanities. I probably should have just Twin Twisted in the end phase, but I wanted to just wait a little bit. I believe, looking back on it now, it was more of a misplay than anything. I was trying to be clever, but I really should have just Twin Twisted them straight away, got rid of anything in my hands. But the idea was I wanted to keep the Dawn and the Herald of the pre-preps in hand, so I was like, okay, so pre-prep to get the Saphira combos, Manju summon to get the Ben 10, pre-prep to get more shenanigans, and he, at this point, I was just like, I've got you. Because he activates the Vanities, and I was like, there must have been something in his back row. He couldn't have been bluffing completely. So I was like, okay, let's hit this. Twin Twister comes down. I'm like, I've got this. At this point, I was like, I've got this game. Unless you've got, even if you've got Dark Destroyer, I've got this game. So this was just more about playing out the combos. So I decided to go for the Scepter and Sovereignty here, I do believe, just searching them out, just as backup. At this point, he tries to activate Good Witch's effect, to which I negate, and then it's just a bit of bit of a interesting field, simply because I really should have switched Herald of Perfection into attack mode, but I was unsure what he was going to really do. So at that point, I was like, I'm just going to be safe, just in case something decides to come down and knock me off the board. I want to try and keep Herald of Perfection on the board, which is really nice. And in the end phase, I go for the Saphira to add the Sovereignty back, just in case. I decided not to go for the draw 2, simply because that was that. He Kozmo Town, switches everything in. Reasoning, I negate that reasoning as quickly as possible, and he quits, simply because in his hand he has another Kozmo Town, a Maxi, and a Slip Rider. That Maxi always coming late for a lot of people, but that's just how it is. So yeah, the Kozmo game wasn't too bad at all, but I do believe he probably should have played it a little bit better. Next up, we have Qliphort. Qliphort just doing their usual shenanigans. Scout, pay 800, all this usual stuff. Don't really say too much about it. My hand is not too great, but it is helped with the fact that I then draw the Ben 10, and I do have access to Ritual Sanctuary. Ritual Sanctuary obviously putting in a lot of work. So at this point, I decide, you know what, I'm going to go for the Ben 10. With the Saphira, which is, you know, quite a nice little play, and then I can go with the Scepter Sovereignty. So he has the Chalice, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to summon this anyway, just to see what I can get, and I draw into the Instant Fusion. I'm like, too good. So I don't mind negging on the Instant Fusion effect with Norden, because there's nothing in the grave, simply because I know that if I can resolve the Delta Ross, I can pop both his scales, which is the important thing that I wanted to do. Lo and behold, I could, so I just attack and tack. Turns out his back row, he pendulum summoned, but I had to lose a turn. I probably would have just kept it anyway. He draws the Raigeki, not a problem. I'll just let that go. Protect the Saphira. Delta Ross did its time. And then I draw into the other Ben 10 with the Manju, and then just go off to get Herald of Perfection out. He does lose one turn, no problem at all. At this point, I'm kind of just winning, and I'm up on advantage, so I add back Ben 10, and the reason why I go for the Sovereignty is because I have a Scepter Engrave, and I have 4 spells. So if I'm able to get rid of the lose one turn, I have a Scepter Engrave, which I can special summon out to trigger the Sovereignty and then carry on doing my usual plays. So that's why I got the Sovereignty, if anyone was wondering. End phase, I just do the usual draw, and it's pretty much game over from this, because he draws into the Sacrifice. Don't really need to say too much, but my hand is pretty godly as well. The Scepter Sovereignty, the pre-prep with the Saphira and Ben 10, it's just so good, and the advantage is just insane. So yeah, that was a nice easy win. Next up, we have Monarchs. Monarchs, I just hate playing this deck so much. So I go first, and got to get the Ritual Sanctuary. So basically, it's the deck thinning. Ritual Sanctuary is going to discard the Ritual Sanctuary, I believe. Oh no, I discard the the Dawn and Herald. I probably could have just discarded the Ritual Sanctuary, but nevertheless. So Ben 10 comes out. Ben 10 allows me to well, Herald Affection comes out, allows me to search out because I used it as Ben 10, and then I decide to kind of go off a little bit just to see if I can get some draws. At this point, I drew incorrectly. I should have really left the Scepter in my hands because obviously it missed time in the fact that when it's special summoned and all that, because it was in like middle of chains, so I really shouldn't have done that, but I just got a bit excited, so I decided to go for the Ouroboros. Ouroboros popped my Ritual Sanctuary, and I have another Ritual Sanctuary in hand, so that's the reason why. At this point, I pop the Ritual Sanctuary to get the plus, to get the draw, and then because I have another Ritual Sanctuary, I already drew another one, I decide to activate that, and then I had 4 spells engraved, so I'm like, I'm just going to go for another play. So I bring out the Scepter, search out the Sovereignty, because at this point I could have, you know, done more plays earlier with the Scepter if I had it in my hands, but nevertheless, kind of worked out because then I went into Abyss Dweller because I saw what he had. It was Monarchs, so the Domain comes down and I stop that straight away. I don't want Domain to come out at all, and looking at my hand, it's just pretty insane, the fact that I have the pre-preparation rights. I search out the Saphira, and everything's just going swimmingly at this point. I feel fully in control of how the deck is running. Really happy with it, and this is just basically flexing at this point. The Abyss Dweller was activated just to get my final Fairy engraved, to be honest. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's a pretty scary board if you look at it, with a Saphira, Ouroboros, Herald Affection, Abyss Dweller, and the live Christia. So it's really, really nice. I did enjoy that board, and yeah, there's not really much you can do against it, so I just absolutely abuse him. Another Burning Abyss with this one, and this is one of the most optimum hands that I had. It was a really nice opening. I had a lot of a decent advantage in here. Could have done with a Ritual Sanctuary, but nevertheless, I just made the most of what I had. I decided to stop at this with the Christia and the Scepter Sovereignty in hand. I draw into an Instant Fusion and a Terraforming. Decided to get rid of the Instant Fusion just because I didn't have any live targets for Norden. I could have used it with these guys, but I thought the Ritual Sanctuary might be a bit more important right now. So he special summons the Graph. I'm like, that's fine. Special summons the Skarm, and then activates the Raigeki, because the way that I'm pretty sure he was thinking was that he wanted to see if I was negating anymore, because I'm pretty sure the fact that sacrificing monsters from his hands wouldn't be too bad at all, but to get rid of my board, it was more important, so I think he was trying to grind me down. This is the important thing with using Herald of Perfection. You need to know when not to activate its effect and negate things. So at this point, I was like, that's fine, and obviously I'm going to negate the Raigeki, get rid of the Scepter. Important thing, reason why I got rid of the Scepter, same as before, is because I know that I've got a Ritual Sanctuary play coming up next turn, and I have 4 spells in my graveyard, so keeping the Scepter in grave with the Sovereignty in hand as much as possible, then I can make further plays. I'd end up discarding the Sovereignty because I'm like, maybe I can keep up with Christia. Christia would arguably be more of a blowout play, especially with the fact that I have 3 already in grave, so I'm getting a little bit close. So he goes for the Dante. I look at what he actually mills. He mills nothing. He mills Libic, which is terrible, and then 2 traps. So that's why I don't negate the Dante. You don't negate the Dante, and I'm pretty sure he should have really just, you know, gone Beatrice. Unless Beatrice is Beatrice is a discarded monster, so obviously that's where he failed to do that. So I draw into a Scepter, and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of good. So Ritual Sanctuary goes for that. Summon the Scepter. He breakthroughs, and I'm like, I'm going to negate that. And this just means that I can now completely flex, which is super nice. So the Sovereignty comes out, get the Sovereignty, overlay, usual stuff, get rid of the back row, return the Dante. He summons the Farfa. I'm pretty sure, at this point I was like, you can just summon whatever you want because I'm going to negate it. It's completely fine. I want him to deck thin a little bit. Although that sounds really weird to say, I just kind of wanted to see what he was trying to do. And I wanted to keep as many things in my hand as possible, especially that Christia. I wanted to see if I could try and get that Christia live. With 3 targets in grave, I only needed 1 more, which would happen, hopefully. So that's basically what my thinking was. So with this, I'm overly flexing here because I know that I can get the Christia out. There's the Christia, and at this point, it's game over. I attack into the Farfa. He tries to activate the effect. Nope, not happening, and just basically clear him out from here. So this is the type of board that you can really establish very, very quickly with this deck. I do really love it, and it's just so much fun. So we're going to the last duel. And then finally we go into the last duel here. This is against Demise, I believe, when I was looking at the deck after. So I open up pretty decently, if I'm completely honest. So got the Ritual Sanctuary, got the Herald going, got the Ben 10. So at this point I decide, okay, I'll add the Sovereignty, because then I can go into the Saphira, and I'm going to search out another Sovereignty. So at this point I'm trying to draw as much as possible, because I'm like, the Ritual Sanctuary has done its good deed, and I just want to keep drawing as much as possible. I want to use Ouroboros to get something out of his hand, and I end up drawing a Twin Twister as well, which is pretty nice. So overall, the hand is pretty solid. I have the Herald, the Saphira, the Ouroboros, a Twin Twister with 3 fairies in hand, and a pre-preparation rites for next turn, with a fair amount of 5 spells in grave. So overall, I'm feeling pretty confident. I know he's playing Qliphort, and I'm like, you have 4 cards in hand, soon to be 5, and I'm like, I've probably got this. So he activates the Raigeki, obviously going to negate that, no question about it. And then, at this point, I'm not entirely sure why he didn't activate Book of Moon, trying to get more cards out of my hands, because what he should have done is activate Raigeki, then Book of Moon, so I would have to negate twice. But he didn't, so I was a bit confused as to why he didn't, but whatever, that's fine. So I decide in the end phase to obviously activate Saphira's effect, to draw 2 and then discard 1. And then again in the end phase, after I've resolved that, I activate the Twin Twister. That's one of the best ways to build the activations in your end phase, because it meant that I had more targets for the Twin Twister, because I got the draw instead of Chainlink 1 doing Saphira, Chainlink 2 doing Twin Twister. It meant that I had a better chance of discarding something that I wanted to. Subsequently, I ended up discarding the Dawn of the Herald, which isn't too bad. But yeah, so I clear out his back row, which is the Lose 1 Turn and the Book of Moon. And at this point, I know I have it in the bag. I'm going to activate the pre-prep, just decide to discard something from his hand for no apparent reason, banish something from his graveyard for no apparent reason, and that's basically game over. So we'll have a look at the deck list. So I just want to go over a couple of different things about this. A lot of people you have seen run this lineup here, these 9 monsters, the Saphira, the Herald of Perfection, and the Ben 10. Now, the only Cyber Angels that a lot of people are running, and in this particular build that you do run, is the Ben 10. Reason being is simply because it's the best one. It allows you to add that ritual from your deck to your graveyard, from your deck to your hand. And with the other Cyber Angels, we have Vishnu, Dakini, and Ida10, sorry, with the Petit Angel. In this version, the only real good one is Ben 10, because it's a level 6, it works with Herald of Perfection, it works with Saphira, obviously. Ida 10 is not too bad if you want a one-of in this build. It depends if you want to bump up like your Herald of Perfection or your Saphira. Saphira going up to a measly, not measly, but a pretty beefy 3-5 is pretty good. And the same with Herald of Perfection going to 2-8 and 3-8 defense. So it's a nice one-of if you want. I must state that this isn't a pure Cyber Angel build. That will be coming at a later date, because I do like this deck. So the only real good one in here for this version is Ben 10. Now, one thing that I'm unsure about is I've maxed out on the ritual spells. I've got 3 and 3. It is quite a lot, but it is at the same time fodder for Ritual Sanctuary. That's the exact same reason why I've got 3 terraforming, because it uses 3... because I want to get to Ritual Sanctuary as quickly as possible. So with the 3 terraforming, it's just fodder. The reason also why I maybe don't want to have at least 3 Dawn of the Herald is because I do banish them and all these different things, but you can then shuffle them back in. So a lot of different tweaking and testing needs to be done. The 2 instant fusions are nice. I do like it simply because it works well with the Scepter Saphira combo, as well. Scepter Sovereignty combo, as well as obviously having a Manju. And this is the extra deck basically. So the one in Thousand Eyes Restricts is just to get rid of any problem monsters. I just like having it there. Obviously the Norden. The 3, let's say, level 6, rank 6s is Utopia Beyond just for some OTKing, M7 for recycling, and Beatrice just because it's kind of alright. It's not difficult to do, and I can send something to the graveyard. For example, I can send like a Sovereignty or a Scepter if I want to recycle something, or I can send like anything I want if I want a ritual spell in the graveyard for pre-prep or preparation rights. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different functionality that Beatrice actually has. So overall, it's pretty good. The one Christia is something that I'm quite attached to. You saw twice, I think, in the replays how Christia came down, and while it was at the end of the game and locked it out, it just solidified the fact that I can get Christia out, and it's actually quite easy to do so. With the one Christia, as opposed to like having 2 or 3, the reason why I have 1 is simply because Ben 10 searches the Christia when I need it. And that is basically the whole premise of having the 1 Christia. The 3 Scepter and 3 Sovereignty, as you saw, I absolutely rinsed through them. And in this deck, I really like how they work. The 3 Manju is standard. These 1, 2, and 3, you can play around with the ratios if you really want. Personally, I am swinging towards having 3, 3, and 3. Ben 10 you can argue you can have 2 of, but there were some times in testing where I had all 3 engraved and it was struggling to get them back. So there are a couple of different reasons and a couple of different examples you can have, but personally I quite like having the 3. It's not too bad. As I said, went over the 2 instant fusion. Pre-prep is very, very, very important in this deck. The 1 soul charge I use occasionally, and this is just to more kind of build unbreakable boards, but I don't know about the soul charge. I might switch it out for something else. And all the rest I've spoken about. The 2 Twin Twisters are quite important in my opinion, just because I want to be able to clear back row. As you saw, I did clear up some other different things. In a duel that I didn't get to record because it just dropped out. Unfortunately, the guy just must have rage quit or something. I wouldn't blame him. I had the Herald out and he set 3 back row. I twin twisted for 2, obviously, and hit 2 solemn notices. And at that point, he just went idle and didn't get to save it, unfortunately. But that was really funny. But that's why twin twister's in here. With the going forward, the Cyber Petite Angel is a nice card. Don't get me wrong, it's certainly a nice card. But for this build, I would only be searching out Ben 10, and that's not the whole point of the build. The Cyber Angel is just for the pures. Vishnu is a nice one again, but all these stem towards having to have Machine Ritual, which I don't particularly want in this version. In the pure Cyber Angel version, which I will do a video of, don't you worry, I will do a dual video. That's where you will be playing this card, but right now in this build, that's not the whole point of it. The whole point is to kind of lock your opponent out as much as possible, just generate a lot of speed, and just in general, kill your opponent. So that is it. That is Duel Diaries number 2. Hope you did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun doing this one, as I said, and yeah, it's just pretty much very fun. So I want to know what you guys think of the deck. Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've got any hints, tips, or tweaks, do let me know. Make sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.